Pianist. I'm the advancement officer here at the Athenaeum. This is the third of 5 events we've got in a row this week, so we're all a little punchy. I've been looking forward to having David Childs come up again. This is his 3rd year performing here, and every time it's something fresh and exciting. I think you're really going to enjoy it if this is your first time. If it's not, you're going to enjoy it very much. That's all I'm going to say. So please, good welcome for David Childs.
Thank you very much. Drive carefully. But seriously, folks. So thank you everybody for coming. Nice to see you all. I've been, as Scott mentioned, I've been here a couple of times, and it's always a nice, warm group of people that listen. They're interested. It's really a pleasure being here. So I want to thank the Athenaeum for having me, and I want to thank Scott for taking care of business. And as always, much appreciated. So tonight, I'm playing songs that have to do with community. Coming together, working together, collaborating, and I picked a variety of songs that all, I think, address that theme of community and working together. And I assume everyone's familiar with that last song. It was popular in the 70s, so it's been around for a minute, as we say. It's been around for a long time. But if you haven't heard it for a long time, you should review the lyrics. It's really cool. Listening to all the different listening to the lyrics and talking about all the different types of people and so forth. And I think that is obviously is half of the coming together thing, the whole community. If you all thought the same and worked the same and so forth, it wouldn't be a thing to come together and work together. But we all have our differences, and we're all in different places. And the magic happens when you unite. You know what I mean? When you resolve the dissonances and you come together and you work together. So that song for me is kind of seemed appropriate. And I'm going to continue with another. Most of the songs tonight are really iconic, super familiar. This is Lean on Me. Oh, sorry about that. That is called, it's by Sly and the Family Stone. It's called Everyday People. Yeah, and I was watching one on YouTube last night in 1970. It was a big tune then, so it's been around. We've heard it on commercials, right? We've all heard that song on commercials, and so Sly and the Family Stone. Thank you. So as we said, that was called Lean on Me. And that's, I think, from a similar time. I think a lot of the tunes I'm playing tonight are from the 60s and 70s and that era, not on purpose. It just sort of worked out that way. As again, I was just trying to find tunes that address the theme of community and working together, coming together. The next song I want to play is, forgot who wrote it. It's called Better Together. Does anyone know that song? I just learned it recently. It's actually about 20 years old. It's by Jack Johnson. And I've had requests. I don't play a lot of weddings, but I play a few, and I've had several requests to play. And it's kind of a fun little song. It reminds me of, do you remember the tune, what was it called? Feeling Groovy, the Simon Garfunkel, 59th Street Bridge theme or something like that. It's sort of that kind of a thing, sort of a easy going kind of thing. So I should probably have sunglasses on or something to play this. But at any rate, it's along those veins. Better Together. Thank you. Again, that was Better. Does anyone know that song? I just learned it recently myself, and I looked it up. It was 2005 when it was written, so it's been around for a little bit, but I just learned it recently myself. Let me see what we have here. So, this is from the 80s. This is a Sting song. We'll see how this works. This is called "We'll Be Together," and you might recognize it. I think it was from the late 80s, like 88 or 89. This is Sting. "We'll Be Together." Thank you. I might even, well, I'm going to play a super iconic song again. I said that earlier, but I'm going to play another one that's even more so. I think it's the Carole King. You've Got a Friend, and you all know that, right? You need to. If you don't know that, then we need to. It's a great song. It speaks for itself. I saw James Taylor for the first time last year with my wife. She wanted to go see James Taylor for her birthday, so we went, and that's a special thing to hear him play, do such a song like that, hear it live. So, anyway. So, continuing with our theme, I have another song from the 60s, the Turtles, Happy Together. Thank you. Another famous one from the 60s, that's Stand By Me. That was Ben King, if I remember correctly. And moving along, I'm going to move to a different region, do a bit of a reggae thing. This is the Bob Marley, One Love. You guys know that song, One Love? Any questions? No? All right. Yes, please.
I'm wondering, where do you start when you make these compositions? Do you start with like sheet music, or do you just know the song and starts coming out?
That's a great question, because what I'm doing is arrangements. Like tonight, what I'm doing, at least, is arrangements of very famous songs. That's an excellent question. So I would say I start with the learning the song, the melody and the chords, and listen to. I try to listen to a whole bunch of different versions, and I triangulate. I try to put it all together and try to come up with my own ideas. And it sort of happens naturally. Once you hear a lot of different versions of the same thing, you sort of hear what's important and what's So that's what that's what we do as jazz players. We take we do a variety of things, but we take things that have been written and we rework them and redo them and improvise on them. And so I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but it's basically we take the tune and we come up with different ideas, and it's an ongoing thing. It never stops. If this were next week, I would come up. Things would be different. And if the same concert were in 5 months, things would be different. And if I'd been here last Thursday, it'd be different. So it's sort of an ongoing process. Any other questions? All right, we're going to have another chance. So, and moving on. So, you know the next one. We're good. Actually, I have a couple of Beatles songs. A little change of plans here. I have a couple of Beatles songs I want to do. And going right along with the theme, this is Come Together. little song I wrote called "With a Little Help from My Friends." What's that? Exactly. That's right. I just got that. Boy, a lot of stuff tonight from the 60s. You guys like music from the 60s and 70s? I do too. There's a lot of good stuff. We also like, my wife and I like shows from the 60s and movies and stuff. I'm a little partial to that era. I don't know. It's a lot of good material from that period, and a lot of stuff tonight is from that period. So I am continuing with Let's Get Together. You remember that one from, who I forgot who did Let's Get Together. Anyone remember? You get the, who was that? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Nice audience. Everyone's attentive, and well, let me know if you have any questions. I'll continue with another rare, obscure thing. This is called Bridge Over Troubled Water. What's that? Yes.
Really nice.
Thank you.
Is there an official version of these songs, and do you need to get permission to do what you're doing in any way?
Well, on to the first question first. I don't think there's an official version. It seems like a lot of songs, this kind of thing, in pop music and rock and jazz and so forth. A lot of times a song will come out and that's what everyone has in their mind, the original. But then it changes and they do another one and maybe the group does another version 5 years later or 20 years later or something like that and it changes. So I don't think there is an official version. And sometimes people get kind of huffy, get excited about, that doesn't sound like the original or something like that. And my thought always is, if any of these people were around playing the same stuff, they would be doing it differently. The Beatles or Frank Sinatra or whoever, if they were, around 50, the stuff that we are so religious about playing it note for note, or some people are, the artists themselves were, when they played the original thing, that was new and original and different. So I don't think they want it exactly. Music evolves and moves on. So I think you're supposed to move on. As far as the second question, I'm sort of evading your second question because I'm not really sure how to answer it. That's come up a number of times. For what we're doing here, I didn't get permission to play these songs. I think it's going to be all right. Everyone's going to keep quiet when we take off. But and I've heard different things during COVID. For example, I have a church gig, and during COVID. There was a big question about what we can record and what we can't, because some of the service was recorded, sometimes the music was recorded, and that was an issue. And frankly, I get different answers when you ask different people. So I can't really answer the second question as well. I'm sorry about that, but I hope I answered the first question because I feel kind of strongly about that just basically the music does evolve, or it's supposed to. I played here. The last time I was here, I played The Walrus by the Beatles. And I went online, listened to a whole bunch of different covers just for ideas and so forth. I came up with 23 or 24 different covers. And I thought one was super creative, 2 or 3 were interesting, and the rest of them were basically people trying to sound like the Beatles. And I thought that was interesting. I'm sure they're all proud of themselves and pat themselves on the back. Well, I did it exactly like, it was like they were trying to do the original, play like the original. But a few people had their own thing going on, and I think that's more what it's about, So, does that make sense? Is that?
Yeah, just wonderful to hear your take on it.
Thank you, I appreciate it, thank you. And like I say, if we had the same concert tomorrow night, it would probably be a little different. If we had the same concert in 3 weeks, it definitely would be different, so. Oh, I was going to tell, I don't mean to talk too much here, but just a real quick, from that last song, Paul Simon story. I was playing for a party in Connecticut years ago, 10 or 15 years ago, and everyone had been hanging out and drinking and partying and this and that, and they're very nice people, not too much or anything, but whatever. And I got done, I just wanted to sort of get paid and go home, and there was a guy there that looked a little bit like Paul Simon and said, "Oh, have you met Paul Simon?" And I'm trying to smile and joke, or you're trying to, no, I haven't met him, and he said, "I'm sorry, I missed the music." And I said, "Oh, do you play piano?" He said, "No, I'm a guitar player." Right when he said that, I realized it really was Paul Simon. And someone saying there said, "You don't know who Paul Simon is?" So that was kind of that was kind of funny. It's funny to tell the story later. I mean, it's a bummer I don't get to talk with this mega famous person during the breaks and stuff. But at any rate, so that's my Paul Simon story. Ain't No Mountain High Enough. It sort of fits the theme. This next one's another Beatles song I recently came across. I mean, it's super famous. I recently learned it very recently. It's a great song. I'm really into it. And there's covers by notable ones by Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, yeah. And this is my favorite cover, actually. And Blood, Sweat, and Tears is the other one. So. This is a mistake, but I'm going to do it anyway. Any requests? Has to be in the theme, and I have to know it, and I have to like it. Besides that, I'll play whatever you want. We just got a couple of minutes to go, and if no requests, I have one last thing I want to play. So one of the things we can, I was looking for relevant tunes to what I wanted to, talk about tonight and so forth. And so I looked on Google. It's a tool we didn't have growing up, but we've had it the last 10 or 20 years. And one of the tunes that came up, which I never would have thought would have crossed my mind, is Won't You Be My Neighbor? And I thought, that's cute, that's silly or what. Obviously, I'm not going to play that. But I got to thinking about it. You all remember Mr. Rogers, and his pianist was a great, great jazz pianist, this guy named Johnny Costa. And he was, I don't know if you know who Art Tatum was. He's like one of the best jazz pianists in history, arguably the best or something like that. And he described Johnny Costa as a Tatum-esque person. So that came from him. So that's like a huge compliment. And if you all saw Mr. Rogers, everyone's seen Mr. Rogers, obviously. I saw it as a kid, but if you go back and listen, it's really, it's fun, and it's notey, and it's like a whole bunch of, it's kind of cool, so I think I'm going to play it. This is, even though I don't know it very well, Won't You Be My Neighbor? Thank you for coming, everybody. Nice. Yes, Scott.
Also, I just want to announce, I forgot to mention that Tom is playing here tomorrow afternoon. Tom stand in the gallery at 1 o'clock, so please come back for that. And staying with the theme, can you play He Ain't Heavy?
Yeah, that's my, that was suggested by somebody else. Did you bring your sax? We play it. There's actually a good friend of mine here, Bob Cole's a wonderful sax player. We've recorded together. There's some CDs over here. He's worked with a lot of famous people, has done a lot up in New England, and drove up from Connecticut to hear the concert. So that's a song that we've played together. Can you sing it? I'll play it if you can sing it. No. How's it go? I'm drawing a blank. How's it go? He Ain't Heavy. He's my brother. It's a great call. It's right on the. Yeah.
No.
How's it go? I can't think of the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Scott, yeah, wonderful musician. So,
He was a character.
yeah.
He was a character. I used to hear him a lot in New Haven back in the early 60s.
Yeah, wow.
And he came out to a place there, it's a little jazz club, and he would play all his stuff. He wrote A Taste of Honey.
Oh, yeah.
He used to call it A Taste of Money. Did very well with that song.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm sure.
But he was, he had, as a singer, he was a great piano player.
Yeah.
But as a singer, he very soulful.
Absolutely. He really brought life to it. I heard that recording of that song that I just don't play it very much, but he sounds great. It's worth checking out on YouTube at some point. He's very soulful, as you say, right?
Okay, so if you had to guess, how many songs do you have in your repertoire? I mean, it seems limitless.
Well, we forget songs over, you bring in new ones and old ones go out or something like that. Is that the way information works? No, I don't. I forget songs, so there's a lot, I'm sure. It's hard to say.
A lot.
Do you
okay.
transcribe them? Do you transcribe them to have written records of them?
Transcribe the songs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have all kinds of books, and yeah, I do some transcribing. Sometimes it's transcribing as inscribed, you write down, but sometimes you just remember, you take it off the record and you commit it to memory that way. So, sort of yes to all.
Your stuff, do you make transcriptions of what you've done with this?
Oh, what I just played?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I have recordings, but I wouldn't transcribe because it's not worth the time or something like that. And I don't want to sound bad, but it's not. It's like it's a ongoing free thing. So it's not. I'd rather spend that time to move forward and find something new to play or find something, you know what I mean? It's a good question, but I don't, so.
You're talking about jazz, this whole evening, but Dave also plays classical music, and he got on a jag a few years ago where he was studying with a classical pianist, and they did a lot of two-piece piano pieces, and he was doing it note for note, and I guess where you got some creativity maybe was with the loud and soft, or I don't know what, but I mean, it was note for note, right? Your
Oh, that is, yeah, that's a totally different approach.
Right, but so it's not that he can't do that, or doesn't like that, but like my husband, who's studied classical music, he prefers to be able to improvise.
Yeah. Steve.
I know so many people on both sides of the mountain, jazz players and classical, and it's just such a different approach to life and music. And you don't have to qualify, you don't have to say good or bad or anything. It's just two different approaches. So it's kind of interesting, fun stuff. This is such a fun place to play and fun audience. This is my third time here, and everyone always listens closely and talks and good questions. And I love being here. So thank you for being a great audience and spending your evening here. Anything else, Scott? We're good?
Yeah, that's
Cool.
You can do another hour if you want.